Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about something that is starting to gain speed. We're talking about 3D printed meat, and I'm just going to show you a quick clip here. This is, what it looks like in the process of making it with a machine, and this is what it looks like after the fact, right? Cuts of meat that have been printed on a machine, but it's not really meat. It's made of some type of something. And this is the aftermath of what it looks like, the aftermath when it's on your plate and you're about to eat it. Okay, so some people can get with this. Some people would look at this and say, well, it don't look bad and it don't taste bad and this, that, and the third. But my thing is this: how good is it for you? And so I'm going to share with you some reports, or actually a report, and then, basically come back with my commentary after the fact. But, listen at this report on 3D printed meat, and then, we're going to see if this is something that people can roll with. Listen at this report, and I'll be right back.
Across four major cities, London, Amsterdam, Berlin, and Tel Aviv, a new meat was born, containing precisely no animal. The London champion of the company, Redefine Meat, is the celebrity chef Marco Pierre White. At Mr. White's in Leicester Square, chefs, investors and barbecue and burger connoisseurs, as well as former winners of MasterChef, gathered to taste it. The tone of the event was set by the offering of a pipette of blood. "Doesn't it taste like blood though?" asked an excited waiter. "Well, yes. But memo from the world of carnivore, blood is more something we put up with than something we actively want to drink. I've had vegans complaining that this is too much like meat," said Redefine Meat's chief executive and founder, Eshkar Ben Shitrit. "Personally, I don't eat meat. I think it's wrong to kill animals and eat them. But in order to get the flexitarian, it's better to disregard the opinion of the vegan. Plant-based meat alternatives are nothing new, and the recent boom in demand from part-time vegetarians, or flexitarians, has fed a surge in innovation from seitan to pea protein products. Yet this is an unarguable technological breakthrough. While a mince texture has been achievable for some time, plant-based whole cuts, which is to say, a cut that has the mouthfeel and the appearance of a steak, or a lamb chop, have long been considered beyond man's wit. Redefine Meat is cagey about which protein it uses. Investors say it is soy. It also uses pea protein, along with ingredients your grandmother would recognize: beetroot, chickpeas, coconut fat, but is delighted by its method. The meat is 3D printed, and the mimicry is extraordinary. The molecules of difference that create the flavor of beef, as distinct from that of lamb, are few but extremely powerful. This is certainly the closest synthetic approximation yet." Ben Bartlett, a chef and barbecue expert, said, "I judge on taste, texture and appearance. I've had so many bland and dull plant products. Then suddenly this came along, and I was marking them 9s and 10s. The starter was pork sausage in a thick, umami-ish, Moroccan-tinged sauce of aubergine and yogurt. It was not quite indistinguishable from the real thing, having a trace of sweetness that hinted at its true nature, but it was unmistakably the game-changer that everyone describes. But not until the beef dish was the technical achievement really shown off. It resembled a stufato, a slow-cooked Greek stew heaped with baby onions, and the form was judiciously chosen. How much it would look like a steak if it had been flash-fried, I don't know. Yet the resemblance to meat, in the grain, the way it pulls apart, the mouthfeel, is absolutely uncanny. Many of the traditional meat alternatives are fine," said Jane Devonshire, the 2016 MasterChef winner, "but you wouldn't get them past my husband. This beef, Mr. Devonshire would approve." White is not quite the unabashed carnivore his early image put across, and spent 9 months as a vegan a decade ago. "I went from 20 stone to 15, I became fascinated by the weight loss. Then I started to look at cheeseboards and just hear a voice in my head saying, 'Eat me.'" Nevertheless, he is associated with a certain mode of eating, fine cuts of noble provenance, a world away from processed or synthetic food. But he appears genuinely to have been won over by Redefine Meat. "I think it's the cleverest thing I've seen in my 45 years in the industry," he says. Tom Chenchi, the head chef at Stony Street Restaurant in East London, is slightly skeptical about flexitarianism, particularly when it's done for environmental reasons. Sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel. If you're eating asparagus on Christmas Day, or you're not treating the animal you've slaughtered with respect, and eating the whole of it, that's just as bad for the environment as eating meat, he says. Yet he notes the importance of this innovation. The vegetarian offering of 10 years ago, a risotto at the bottom of the menu as an afterthought, isn't cutting it anymore.
Okay, so you do have some reports that are trying to say that what they are doing is better for the environment than the way that is done naturally, where you see the grazing cattle in the field. They say that what they're doing is better. It's going to be overall better for the animals, for the environment, for the planet. This is what they are saying. They are saying that the unnatural way is better than the natural way. And then when you take a look at, how some farmers tend to their animals, they are very, very loving towards their animals, and they treat them fine, right? But they don't always know the right things to do. This is why when I look at how things were intended to be, that's so much better to me. But then, when you have this industrialized way of doing things, you're trying to meet a demand of an overweight population. So of course, this is going to look horrible, right? But it still goes back to what is natural is always better. What they have done is created a greedy society to where people feel like they have to have meat every single day, 3 or 4 times a day. This is why this no longer fits what people want. And so they're basically trying to say we're trying to keep up with the demand for greedy folk. And so we have to come up with machines in which this is what a 3D printer looks like. Okay, it's not only printing food, but items such as this is printing houses. They even have a 3D printer for houses, right? And so they have to come up with a machine that's going to produce enough food to feed the masses, as they say, in a better way, because people are greedy. We were never intended to eat meat this many times a day because of the greed that has been created through so many different methods, so many different forms. But I want to know what your thoughts are on eating 3D printed meat. Oh my goodness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you another quick look at that. This is what they are trying to get you to eat. Something where they produce fake fat, fake blood, and then you get these fake steaks, and then they slice it up, and it looks kind of sort of similar to a steak, but it was printed on a machine, and then they put it on your plate and they serve it to you like this. And you're supposed to get the feeling of real meat from something that was printed on a machine that was made in the lab by some people who are mixing and messing with flavors to produce this. In the comment section below, be sure to leave and share your thoughts. Just remember to keep it tight and keep it right. But until next time, 3D printed meat, yes or no? We hope you liked today's topic. Please leave your comments below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, share it like this video, and with that, we're out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.